Hello, good morning, everybody. College Coaching Networking here again with another Social Spotlight Live. Today, at this time,
This
11:30 special
right.
segment, we have Mr. Mason Mobley with us to take the 10-10 challenge. So I'm going to turn it over to class so we can take the challenge and get to learn more about Mr. Mobley.
Yes, let's get ready to get to it. So before though, I just want to make sure we set the tone here. Mason is from Missouri.
No, absolutely incorrect. So Claude, like I just lost a lot of networks on LinkedIn because of that comment. Just so thank you. You owe me. For all y'all that know me, let's be straight and to the point. First of all, there's Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri. Now, if there's Kansas City, Kansas, that's good. There's all kinds of tracks. I'm from the dot, like the dot,
Let them
KC,
know.
the dot, 63rd and parallel. I'm going right there. So let's not make that error again, Claude, or I'm gonna unplug.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I thought I had to set the tone. All right, so let's go through the 10 questions. The first one for you, Mason, is where did you have your first job?
First job, Burger King. Burger King, sandwich artist right there on 55th and State Avenue, directly in the dot as well. So Burger King, absolutely.
We're gonna hear a lot about the dot. Hey, my first job was at one of my jobs was at Burger King. That Whopper was the real deal. All right, what was your title at Burger King?
A title, literally, I was cook. If you want to marketing it up, I was drive-through expedition leader. So we'll put some marketing on it. Let's be real. That's what we're doing. Also no, no, go. Look,
drive-through
expedition leader.
Like on a final frontier. We're going on an excursion to get these Whoppers.
That's correct, Claude. This is what you get. So sorry. This is me. This is what you get.
I love it. Hey, it's Friday. I needed this.
Come on.
Oh man, that was good. Hourly rate of pay.
$4.25 minimum wage.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Yes, that's funny because that was what minimum wage is. Man. Okay. Were you on time or were you late?
On time, early, neither. Early, every day, every shift. Claude, we talked about Miss Guinevere Coleman from Inroads. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. If you're late, you get left. Done. Full stop.
Ooh, man, that was good. Say that one more time. That was good.
So again, Miss Guinevere Coleman, for anybody who was circa Kansas City Inroads in 1990, you heard this every day, 5 times a day. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. If you're late, you get left. That's it.
Wow. That is mic drop stuff right there. That's good. Appearance. Did you prepare yourself the night before, or did you just go, wake up that morning and go with it?
No, night before preparation. Black slacks, Whopper shirt, the visor without the lid on it, like that right there. Night in and night out. And then I had the older versions of the Jordans. You know how we used to do it. Like once they got ruined, you got to keep your new ones in the box. And so right. I had some that were 3 years old and loved a lot. So it was the night before, all day, every day.
I love it. Where'd you learn that from? Real quick, as a side question. Did you get that from watching your parents, or the preparation part? Where'd you get that from?
That was preparation. That was Alvin Mobley, my dad. So my dad was art teacher down at Sumner Academy. Every day, slacks press, shirt press, tie hung out the night before. He is my role model to this day. I love and I still fear him. Let's be real about that. He could call me right now and say, leave. Claude, I'll be right back. My dad told me to leave the house. And that's what we're going to do. But I learned so much from him because he was an art teacher at Sumner Academy. So one of the dirtiest jobs. I mean, he was a wood shop teacher, woodworking teacher. Even with that, though, he had his apron. That was his leather apron, fresh pressed. And underneath that, day in and day out, shirt, tie, dress slacks every day. That's my dad.
I love it. And kudos to him for being present, because you see so many times that people unfortunately don't have that privilege. So you are very, very fortunate and blessed.
Absolutely.
Biggest life lesson from your first job?
Biggest life lesson is customer service and the ability to keep quiet. I think from a customer service standpoint, you got to have something in you. So and the next thing is just looking past where you are to where you want to be. I knew from the time I was 10 years old, Claude, that I wanted to be an electrical engineer. So in the meantime, though, I got tired of asking my mom and dad for handouts. I wanted to take my girlfriend at the time to prom. I wanted to put gas in my own car. I wanted to buy the Bo Jackson kicks. I was a shoe phenom, right? So what I understood was, with customer service, people always assume that because you worked at Burger King, this was the best you could be doing, or this is your destiny. And then you had to deal with a lot of stuff. Like Burger King was no joke. You had to deal with a lot of stuff, especially on Sunday mornings from people going to church. That's a whole different story. But let's just call it what it is. But you had to deal with a whole lot. And so when I talk about customer service, you just have to just keep quiet, just keep things flowing and be respectable. And then as far as I say, the ability to keep quiet, some things that were said that you might want to respond to, you just got to swallow those words. That's something that literally, Claude, I take that followed with me in the day. Now, in my role, what you have to do is, as you get ready to type that email, I know we've all been there. Stop, shut the keyboard down and walk away, because nothing that I'm getting ready to press and hit send is going to be beneficial to me or the recipient. So that's a lesson from Burger King that's with me right now.
That is, when you were saying that, something just kind of came in my mind, and it said, silence speaks louder than words.
It does.
And that's good. And so I really want to make sure we put that out. I've got three more questions, but
absolutely.
What you just said, I think, is something that's timely for the youth of today, because
yes,
everyone right now is speaking out, and I think we need to, for the injustices that we see in the world. But when we get a seat at the table, because the opportunities are going to come up for us to get ourselves at the table, to bring about change to systemic racism and stuff like that we've seen.
100%.
We have to understand that now that we're in the room, doesn't mean that we have to be the loudest in the room.
And one thing I'll say to that, Claude, I'm sorry to interrupt, but one thing I wanted to say is, there's one thing to be given a seat at the table, but you have to keep that seat at the table. It's one thing to be in the room, but depending on how you act, what you say, how you carry yourself, you might be, asked to be excused from the room. So, to my peers, as well as to those, coming behind me, it's one thing to be in the room. It's another thing to stay in the room.
That's good. We'll have to have another conversation at another time about just what you just said right there. That was pretty good. All right, were you a saver or a spender?
Both. You got me. So I was guilty of both. Like I said, I try to set, like I said, a couple of long-term goals, which was to be able to take my girlfriend at the time to prom. So I was saving for that. But then also, sometimes, you work that extra double shift where they call you in on that Sunday where you're going to catch some Hades on this side of heaven. So, but you get that extra money. You get like that extra 15, 20. And as my father would say, the money was burning a hole in my pocket. So I was both. The majority of the time, though, I was a saver, because I knew what I wanted, at least for that. And prom wasn't until May, and I was working in August. I had a jar, and I put my check-in stubs right there, and so I did a little bit of both, mostly saving.
Well, you started ahead of the game. All right, and you had goals too. Most people their goal is just to get a check, not to take the girlfriend to prom, stuff like that. So it's pretty admirable. Absolutely. All right, song that best describes your first job, or what song was popular during the time of your first job?
Anything by Shy. I'm a date myself. Anything by SHAI. Y'all need to go look it up and Google that. Next Time I Fall in Love, that was it. Because look, I was in love with that job. I was in love with that check. So that's pretty much where I was at. That was one of those, not gonna really get you in trouble if your parents walk in and you listening to it. So again, right. You go back to that fear of dad. Boy, what you listen to? Nothing. Okay. So let's not have that conversation.
Did they sing that song, "Baby I'm Yours"?
Absolutely. With the part.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah, right. You're right.
That part. That part. Absolutely.
Oh,
100%. Yes.
you took me back on that one. That's cool. Now I'm gonna have to put that. I'm gonna play that on Alexa today. Let me go back to some Shy. I don't know if Alexa even know what Shy is. I'm gonna have to tell.
I got that on playlist right now. Like you shouldn't have to look it up, Claude. We're gonna have to do the coaching, the coaching network like challenge. We're gonna have to do the next thing is what's name that tune, and we're gonna see where people are.
I'll see. That's like 90.
Yeah, we on that.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, have a prize for that. Name that tune. That is all right. Awesome. Last question.
Absolutely.
Most embarrassing moment from your first job or any job.
Most embarrassing moment. So we go back to what you asked me, what lessons learned, and the ability to keep silence and just sometimes not to react. Literally, I'm working drive-through. It's late Saturday night. So for those of you that know that era, that was like Indian Springs, and that used to be the late night movie. And so late night movie people would come in, and they had a good time, and they're coming in to watch because we stayed open late. Anyway, lady came in with her boyfriend, like, hey, put in an order, Whopper fries. Then I wanted like a strawberry shake. I knew she said strawberry shake. I heard strawberry shake. So made strawberry shake. I'm good. I handed out to her. She's like, what? So she literally leaned over her boyfriend who was driving at the time. I'm at the drive-through and literally threw her strawberry shake through the window and hit me. And I'm standing there in strawberry shake. And I had to say the following line. Thank you for coming to Burger King. Let me know if we can do anything to improve our service on the next visit. Yep. And that's I mean, it's embarrassing, but it's one of those things of, and my manager's looking like, hey, what are you going to do? And the thing is, you talk about it, and I'm just kind of like, each time we're going to be tested wherever we are in different manners. That was one of those real legitimate tests. And again, it goes back to, cool, like you're not going to see me here, Laura Will and Creek don't rise, this time next year, I'm good. Like it's going to be my senior year of college. I'm going to be, at Leadership Education and Development at Carlson School of Business, up at the University of Minnesota. Like this is temporary. I'm doing what I have to do until I can do what I want to do. And so, I mean, that's just where I was at that moment. So I'll laugh about it to this day. I still talk about it. My mom walked in like, baby, what happened to you? I'm like, long day at work. Can we just get this watch? Because that was Saturday night and I had to go in on a Sunday. So I already knew it was going to be one of those back-to-backs. So, I mean, it's embarrassing, but you look back on those moments and a lot of the moments that we went through make us who we are today.
Are you a public speaker, man?
I am not a public speaker. I like to relate to people. I'm a talker, Claude. We had the conversation, and I told you before, and people who know me, I can have a conversation in an empty room. That's how I do it. I have like different stories. So I mean, not a public speaker. When I can relate to people, and I get to, it's Friday, been a long week, and I get to do something that I'm passionate about. Passion brings, just calm. So I enjoy this. So no, I'm not a public speaker, but whenever you want to have me on, call me. You know where I'm at. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, like it's funny because like he uses like a principle, but he'll embed it in a story, which is like the attributes of a good public speaker. So it's like you naturally do it, but you don't even know that you're following a sequence that a lot of people teach all the time. You know what I'm talking about, Mika? Like a lot of people teach these ways of communicating. Go ahead.
So I was going to tell you. So this is something that I learned from one of the most important people that I've had, from a teaching standpoint, Mr. Rob Hassey. He was my football coach freshman year. He also was my history coach, and he taught at the time IBH history. I wasn't a history person, like I'm a science and math, but he was like, Mobley, quit taking the easy way out. Come to my class. I'm going to challenge you. You might get a B, but it's going to be a weighted B. Each day, Claude, he would start his lecture. He would just tell stories. He would tell stories, and then he'd just roll into it. And he started with this story. He rolled into it. Before you know it, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm supposed to be taking notes because, Mr. Hassey did his thing. He rolled into it. He told a story and then he rolled it into it. And the relatability, I mean, that's what I learned. And, having gone to like a lot of conferences and a lot of speakers, you remember those speakers that didn't just jump into the PowerPoint and didn't just jump into the lecture. old preachers, they tell a story, but then they bring it back,
Yes.
to the verse. So a little bit of that, a little bit of this, but I
That's
enjoy
good.
talking. But I mean, I picked up habits that I've learned, and fortunately, I've been able to share.
Yeah, you've implemented them too. That's good. So let's talk real quick about your story about, okay, you started at Burger King. Obviously, you're in engineering. So like walk us through like what college did you go to, and then walk us through how you got into the position that you're doing today.
Absolutely. So, finished up, like I said, wanted to be electrical engineer, pursued that at Washington University in St. Louis, from Kansas City. Was there a couple of years,
Let's pump the brakes.
Okay.
You said you went to WashU, right?
WashU in St. Louis.
Okay. We're not going to gloss over that. The average ACT at WashU is like 32. So you're extremely smart. So I mean, like that is not, you can't, what do they have, like a 3% acceptance rate?
It was low. It was low. I just, what, honestly, like, again, like the accolades, like I just looked at it as it was somewhere that I wanted to go. And again, like I knew that was one of my target schools my sophomore, junior year. So I knew, Claude, again, we talk about forward looking. Like I set a goal and then understood what I needed to do for my academic curriculum to differentiate me from the other applicants to the school. So when I looked at WashU and where I wanted to go, I knew it would be difficult to get into, but I figured I was going to, play the well-rounded card. So the well-roundedness was, I did, the IB program down at Sumner. I did the AP program down at Sumner, but I also differentiated myself by being, the president of the Spanish National Honor Society. I did the community service at the time. We worked with, a company like it was, Operation Hope, helping others pursue excellence. We did, career workshops. But then I also was, played football, basketball, and track at Sumner. So it was that well-roundedness. My standardized test scores were okay. They were below the average, but all the other qualities, kind of again differentiated me. I always just say somebody, and I'm not going to bash the standardized test, but anybody can have a great day, one great day, and that's
Right.
what it takes on a standardized test. Let's be real, one great day. Anybody also can have one off day, but like if whichever that day is, do something to either support and say, yeah, he had a great day, but he also does these other things. Or if you had a mediocre day, you did these other things to differentiate yourself, to put you in a place where now you've got an opportunity to go to a WashU.
So I just want to highlight what you just said, so the students that will listen to this will really take in what you just said.
Right.
You may not be the best test taker. You may be really, really smart, but you just have a bad day, like you just said in that test. But you knew the long game was, I'm going to have them look at the holistic view of who Mason is and not just a standardized test. So I want you to see that I'm involved over here. I'm over here. I'm in leadership. I'm doing all these things. And then all of these things collectively will make me attractive enough to get into that college. Is that what you're telling?
That's 100%. And honestly, for me, like I had to place my bets. Like some people bet on, I'm just going to knock the test out of the box. Other people said, I'm going to like kind of place my bets like on my grades. For me personally, I put more leverage and more time on my grades and my weighted grades. As I said before, Mr. Hassey, like I looked at all these different weighted averages in the different classes that I could take. What I looked at and what I felt at the time schools looked at was test is one quick snapshot. Your grades, your GPA, your curriculum. Like you looked at my curriculum, I didn't do the full IB program, but I did a majority of IB that was in, calculus, physics. I also did IB Spanish. I did AP English. I did IB history. You have all these IB chemistry, right? So with me as an engineering student, I needed to ensure that math, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, heavy. If you're going to be that, and then, oh yeah, by the way, I did AP English, which honestly was my favorite class. I loved English. Miss Jane Stock was one of my favorite teachers. So that's what I did. So it's that balance. I mean, I could go on for days, Claude, about that and kind of like the prep and the waiting, but you need to be, what I always, as I'm mentoring people is, what school do you want to go to? What major do you want to follow? And then line up, your tests, but more importantly, your curriculum to support that and lean towards, the major that you actually want to pursue at your university. Build your structure for where you want to be, not just, hey, I want to be really, the top of the class.
Nice, nice. So now you go to WashU. Go ahead, Mika. I don't know if you can say something. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So you go to WashU and you take care of your business at WashU. What from WashU? What? Because that's not an easy school to get into, and then I'm sure in order to maintain the grades and stuff like that. So, what was the secret to your success that caused you to get down there and excel, as opposed to some students that go down to college and they let freedom from their parents, they let maybe the rigor of the course curriculum cause them not to take care of the business? How did you get down there and stay locked in to accomplish the goal?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I found out, and this is, if we're being, I'm super transparent. I'm never going to sugarcoat anything. Like, as prepared as I thought I was, for WashU, my college prep, like with Sumner, like I got down there and I struggled. So I was like, hey, what's this C letter? Like, I've never seen this. And that, it went from, basically just being the rock star to like really having to hustle and grind. And so, I mean, like I maintained like a decent GPA at WashU, but it wasn't this 4.2 that I was used to at Sumner. And honestly, I looked at WashU, I was doing okay. I also was playing football and running track, but I was an engineer. I looked at it and I was having, acclimation time. It was these big classes. There was lack of, kind of attention and support from faculty. My advisor, Annie McDuffie, I'll never forget it. She was like, Mason, have you ever thought about transferring? I said, no. She said, well, look at it. And so I looked at transfer, and I actually transferred from Washington University, where I finished my education, at Florida A&M, down in Tallahassee. So I spent 2 years down at WashU. I spent 3.5 down at Florida A&M. What I can say, though, Claude, is that change of scenery, the smaller classes, more access to my teachers, professors, more structure, more support. I went back to what I think really succeeding down at FAMU. I love FAMU. So yes, I'm an alumnus of WashU, but I am a graduate of FAMU. Two different things. When I went to FAM, the love, support, the access, the structure was amazing. And what I tell people, and this is different conversations. So you had one, very low minority, school, which was WashU. You have one 90-some% historically Black college and university. To be candid, it's not, the university doesn't define you, you define yourself when it comes time to go into the career challenges, when it times to go into the career applications, because I actually ended up leaving with significantly more offers than some of my counterparts who actually stayed at WashU. And that was something that I looked at is it's not, as you said before, WashU, great school. It keeps me in conversations when I need to drop that. But when it came time to it, like, I'm a rattler. Like, for those that went to FAMU, they know what that means. I'm a rattler, like, flat out. That's where I was able to become who I am today.
I love, and we'll go real quick at the end just to kind of talk about what you do now. But I love that we went down this path in the conversation, because it's very rare that we talk to someone who can get into a WashU or MIT or what have you. And they talk about that, yes, it's good to want to get into these prestigious schools, but we actually need to look at the culture of the university, even though we know the universities are awesome, but we need to look at the culture, and also we need to look at the support that school is willing to offer. And so as the students right now are getting their acceptance letters back to the school from the schools, this is the ideal time. That's why I'm glad we're going through this. Yeah. This is the ideal time that you need to not just look at, oh, I'm so happy I got into such and such. You got to find out what it is as a student that you need. Do you need to have that family? Do you need to have that support? Or do you want to just have the name? And at the end of the day, if you can't get through school because you don't have the right support, you're not going to have the name anyway.
The one thing I can't say, talked about like support. The one thing that I can say about WashU, it was Division III, and I played football there. Like, my coach, Larry Kinbaum, who I'm still in touch with, he was an amazing man. We had an amazing, that was my true support system. So, for everything that sports is, like, I was an athlete, but I wasn't the superstar, but I was there. And Coach Kinbaum and my older brother, I call him Todd Hannum, he was there. He was a running back. He was a senior. That was my support group. And then also, with some of the engineers, we had like our own study sessions. And, James Ramsey was a young Black PhD student, I think, at the time, for physics. He was my physics tutor. I needed him. He got me through it. So those support systems, Claude, I'll tell your students this, they are everywhere. They will not come to you. You have to find them and or create that support system. And the one thing that I can say is never be afraid to ask for help. Like no one's going to know that you're struggling. And as you say, I need some help. And that's what I did to Coach Kimbaum. He's like, I got you, Mason. Like, we're going to get James around you. Hey, Todd, how'd you get through this? Hey, man, this is what I did. Until you ask for help, you can't get it. Closed mouth doesn't get fed. I cleaned it up a little bit, but basically closed mouth don't get fed. So you got to ask for help. If you need help, ask for it. And don't be too proud to ask for help because we all get it.
That's good. So in conclusion, you're an engineer now. Give us just a quick minute of what your day looks like as an engineer.
Yeah. So actually, started as an engineer, worked building servers for Procter & Gamble, moved on to software design for, control software engineering for, control systems for Kimberly-Clark with Huggies diapers. Actually switched over to marketing, right place, right time, met a gentleman, got into marketing, product marketing with Motorola. That was 2004. So about 17 years, I actually switched over from being an engineer to being in marketing. So where I'm at right now, senior growth marketing manager with Centrify Corporation. My day-to-day looks like I'm really focused in demand generation and actually building pipeline for our sales team, focused primarily on the digital aspect of that. So really leading corporate strategy around corporate webinars, as well as email nurturing programs for multiple tracks from a global standpoint. So kind of segments being North America commercial, North America government, Asia Pacific, and then Europe, Middle East, and Africa. It's my day-to-day is more of a business development. So establishing credibility with sales, ensuring I hit numbers, create pipeline demand generation, top of funnel for marketing. And then at the end of the day, it's one thing to plan, it's another thing to execute. It's great to have it in PowerPoint, but I need to see the results in Salesforce. So, I mean, overall, if I structure something, Claude, the one thing that if I summed up who I am, where I've been, and what I do, I say I went from PLCs, which are programmable logic circuits, to SQOs, sales qualified opportunities. So literally from engineering to marketing and everything in between, and just understanding that, engineer being a problem solver can be applied in any dynamic, any structure. And again, I still ask for help. Like I still ask for help and lean on people that are smarter than me. And I acknowledge that, or that I just say, will you help me? And most people rally around it. Centrify has been awesome to me. I've loved it. I've been able to grow and do different things. I also, the last thing I want to tell your students, as well as everyone else, pick up a second language. Like pick up a second language, because I started when I said I was president of the Spanish National Honor Society. To this day, I still speak. I'll say like mid-fluency because I haven't been absolutely immersed, but being able to have a second language has kept me in more conversations and given me a bigger seat at the table and allowed me to continue to work and support Latin America in each and every one of my marketing roles and even in my roles with engineering. Second language, regardless of if it's French, German, Spanish, Russian, pick it up, stay with it. It will make a difference.
Man, this was a great interview. There's so many different levels we're going to connect on. So
Please
I'm
do.
looking forward to it. But thank you. Mika, I'll give it to you to take us home.
Yes. So thank you so much, Mr. Mobley, for
Thank
coming
you.
on, talking to our students, taking the 10-10 challenge and talking about, again, let me go back, being a drive-through expedition manager.
You got it. Put it on a t-shirt. Market it.
Make sure y'all
That's
got
right.
this. Expedition manager. And look, being able to learn a valuable lesson in life with going through the milkshake situation, because
Absolutely.
there's so many that will respond in a different way, not realizing that sometimes it's not how you respond.
Mhm.
That you don't have to, not responding
Responding is a
more
response. There it
heavily
is.
to her, because she was looking for you to respond in a negative
Right.
way. She was
Right.
looking for the rise, and the fact that you allowed her to see herself was more powerful.
There you go. There you go.
Also, again, Mr. Mobley is a senior growth marketing manager for Centrify.
Yeah.
And of course, he is an electrical engineer. We have a lot of students that are interested in engineering. So we definitely have to get
Yes.
back to talk to students about the engineering field and even
Yes.
marketing, because
Both.
Yes.
And then the other thing is the combination of the two. It's technical marketing. So there's a technical marketing, there's a product marketing. Like Claude, literally, you know how to get me. You know how to get me directly. And what I'm going to say, and I mean this to heart, any of your students, give them my corporate email, and I'm not playing. Give them my corporate email. Any student that reaches out to me directly, please give them my corporate email and my mobile number. Tell them to email me. We have a heavy spam filter. If it gets caught in spam, tell them to email and then call me. I will make time for any of your students at any point. Schedule them, and literally, I'm signing up on camera to be your STEM, science, technology, engineering, your mentor. And any of your students that want to talk engineering or any of them, push my information out. So many people have helped me. Let me help somebody.
That's good. That's good. We're gonna take you up on that.
Please do. Please do.
Yes, truly amazing. So again, guys, thank you for signing in to another College Coaching Network Social Spotlight Live again with our special guest, Mr. Mason Mobley. Thank you and have an amazing weekend, everyone.
Hey, you all take care. Be blessed, y'all.
Take care.